ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति पदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरं श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्नाय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिष्ये नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमस्ते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुलंघायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दिनकारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्यदेवं। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। 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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। Hare Krishna. So welcome back for the second day of our ISKCON Tirupati Youth Camp at Kanchipuram Dham. So today is very auspicious day. Every day is auspicious, but today is also especially auspicious. Today is Bhadra Purnima Mahamahotsav. And today is also the auspicious day. On this auspicious tithi, His Divine Grace, Sri Bhakti Prachar Swami Prabhupada accepted the sannyas order of life in the year 1959. So if anybody is interested to take sannyas, you can pray on this auspicious day. So people are not happy hearing that. Okay, no problem. So first we will discuss about Srimad Bhagvatam. So Krishna has unlimited potencies, and it is divided into primarily three categories: internal potency, external potency, and marginal potency. The spiritual world is run by internal potency. Material world is run by external potency, and in between are the living entities, those who are neither external nor internal. They are in between. They are known as marginal potency. So material energy is run by three modes of material nature: mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. In the same way, internal potency is also divided into three categories: Sambit Shakti, Sandhini Shakti, and Bhadini Shakti. The Lord is known as Satchidananda, Sat, Chit, and Ananda. Sat means eternal, Chit means knowledge, and Ananda means bliss. So Lord, His body is made of Sat, Chit, and Ananda. And our body is made of gross material elements and subtle material elements: earth, water, fire, air and ether, mind, intelligence and falsity. But Lord's body is beyond these material elements. His whole body is spiritual. His whole body is Atma. His whole body is transcendental. His whole body is beyond three modes. And this can be understood only through internal potency. And when Krishna appears in this world also, He appears with internal potency. Lord is Aja. He does not take birth, but He comes into this world, He appears into this world by the arrangement of the Jogomaya potency. Material energy is known as Mahamaya potency, and spiritual energy, spiritual potency is known as Yogamaya potency. So, spiritual potency, internal potency is divided into three categories, which I already mentioned. One is Ladini Shakti. Ladini Shakti is Anandadayini Shakti. By this potency, Krishna enjoys and also makes his devotee enjoy. Ladini. The predominating deity of Ladini Shakti is Srimati Radharani. Then Sandhini Shakti. Sandhini Shakti is known as existential potency, by which Krishna exists. Predominating deity of this potency is Balaram. And Sambit Shakti. Sambit Shakti is the Shakti by which Krishna is known. We can know Krishna through Sambit Shakti. And the scriptures are the manifestation of Sambit Shakti. Prabhupada used to give the example: if you want to know your father, you have to approach your mother. Right? In the same way, Krishna is our eternal Father, Supreme Father. He is the Aham Bijaprada Pita. He declares in Bhagavad Gita, I am the seed-giving Father of every living entity. So in order to know that Father, we have to approach our Supreme Mother, which is Vedas, scriptures. So Krishna gave knowledge. And that knowledge is known as Vedas. Veda is also known as Shruti, because transmission of knowledge in other yugas was done through oral reception, not by reading, writing, taking notes. This was not the system, because the memory was very sharp memory. Once heard, remembered for whole life. While Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, Arjuna was not listening. Please wait. I am taking notes. Krishna was speaking and Arjuna was hearing and remember for whole life. In the same way, Sukadeva Goswami spoke Srimad Bhagvatam. Sutta Goswami heard it and he repeated the same thing to the sages of Naimisharan. This is the way students used to learn. Oral reception, hearing, Shravan. That's why Veda is known as Shruti. But as Kali Yuga approached, Lord realized this system is not going to work, because people cannot remember. Generally, spiritually, in Kali Yuga, people are dull-headed. So for these people, we need to have special arrangement. That's why knowledge which was transmitted through oral reception, there was a need to record it through the writings. So Lord incarnated himself as Vasudeva and recorded, wrote, composed this knowledge which is known as Vedas. So Veda was only one, then Vasudeva divided into four. Rig Veda, Sam Veda, Yajur Veda and Atharva Veda. Then he realized it's very difficult for Kali Yuga people to understand Vedas. Nowadays most of the Vedas are not available. Very difficult to understand. Because Kali Yuga people learn by stories. When intelligence level is low, stories are very effective way to teach people. That's why Vasudeva composed 18 Puranas, the whole Vedic knowledge in 18 Puranas. And he divided into three categories: Sattik Purana, Rajasic Purana, Tamasic Purana. Because this world is divided into three modes. People are also of three modes. According to their modes, they can refer to Shastra. Those who are in the mode of goodness, they will refer to Sattik Purana. Those who are in the mode of passion, they will go to Rajasic Purana. And those who are in the mode of ignorance, they will go to Tamasic Purana. That's why Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, Troigunna Vishaya Veda. The subject matter of Vedas is also covered by three modes. Means it deals in three modes. Then he thought that there is a need to write another literature which is very, very suitable for Kali Yuga people. Then Vasudeva composed Mahabharata, which is known as fifth Veda. And it is very suitable for Kali Yuga people. The essence of Vedic literature is known as Upanishad, Vedanta. Vedanta, the conclusion of Vedas is known as Vedanta, and it is in the form of sutra. That's why it is known as Vedanta Sutra. So Vedanta Sutra is the essence of all Vedic literature, composed by Vasudeva. Then he thought, Kali Yuga people cannot understand Vedanta Sutra unless there is some explanation given on Vedanta Sutra. That's why there is an explanation on Vedanta Sutra, and that explanation of Vedanta Sutra is Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of all Vedic literatures. Mahaprabhu said, if you are to know the conclusion, any spiritual conclusion, what is the pramana? Pramana is Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam pramanam amalam prema umartha mahan. So Srimad Bhagavatam is very, very important for the Gauriya Vaishnavas. Why? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphasized Srimad Bhagavatam very, very strongly. Rupa Goswami, he has given 64 limbs of bhakti in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. How many limbs? 64. Then he thought, what to talk about practicing these limbs? People will not be able to remember also. What to talk about practicing 64 limbs? Then he thought there is a need to give some essence. Because in Kali Yuga people don't like long things, right? In other field also. In the field of cricket, previously it used to be test match, 5 days. Then after that 1 day. So 1 day used to be with 60 overs, then it became to 50 overs, then it became T20. So everything is reduced. In social media also, they don't like to hear long videos. Seminars, they will sleep, nobody will hear. That's why Prabhupada used to give 30 minutes class. That is also difficult nowadays. Then 5-7 minute videos, that is also difficult. Then nowadays 1 minute, shorts. And people are mad for shorts. Nothing should remain. That's why in Kali Yuga we also have short life. Because in Kali Yuga we don't like long time. I was giving a lecture in Australia many years back, and I was talking about duration of life of living entities. I told that in Satya Yuga the duration of life was 100,000 years. In Treta Yuga it was 10,000 years. In Dwapar Yuga 1,000 years. In Kali Yuga 100 years. And one new man came in my class, he was so happy to hear that. He said, thank God, only 100 years. Because that is also very difficult to live for 100 years. So many suicides, right? So in Kali Yuga, people don't like to have long things. So Lord also understands that. But also, there is a need of deliverance of the Kali Yuga people. That's why Vedic knowledge also given in a very wonderful way, in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam, because in Kali Yuga people don't have time, so much time to study Vedas, and they are not so much intelligent also to study and understand Vedas. Okay? So Srimad Bhagavatam is certainly said, Krishna sadhamo pagate dharma jnana adi vishaha Kalau nashta dishamesha purana arka adhuna uditaha. So Krishna appeared at the end of Dwapar Yuga, right? And he performed his pastimes in Dwapar Yuga, at the end of Dwapar Yuga for 125 years. Then he left this world. Lord comes and goes, he appears and disappears. This is the nature of this world. Nobody can stay here for a long time. We have to leave. So Krishna also left. But Krishna left along with his dharma, jnana. He left along with dharma and jnana. And if Krishna is not there, then what will happen? Darkness. Krishna Surya Sama Mahaya Andhakar Jaha Krishna Taha Nahi Mayaro Adhikar. It is said Krishna is like brilliant like sun, and Maya is darkness. Where there is Krishna, there is no Maya. But if there is no Krishna, Maya. So Krishna disappeared and this material world became dark. You may say, oh, every day sun is rising. Sun may be rising, but that is not the real light. Real light is what? Vedic knowledge. And that is given by the spiritual master. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Gurudev, or the spiritual master, gives the torchlight of knowledge, transcendental torchlight. And by that we can see. Now, although we have eyes, we cannot see. What we cannot see? What's going to happen in the future? What is going to happen after 1 second, 1 minute, we don't know. But we think we know so much. I have done PhD in this subject, that subject, I am PhD, I am BTech, MTech, I am professors, I know so much. To know a limb of our body, people spend whole life and become specialists. It's good, but to know a limb, an insignificant limb of a body, how many years do you have to spend? Minimum 25 years to become eye specialist, heart specialist, then different other specialists. To know a limb of our body, one body, human body. So how many bodies are there? 8,400,000 species of life. That is also in this universe. How many universes are there in this material world? Unlimited number of universes. And what is the size of the material creation? 1/4 of the total creation. And 3/4 is the spiritual world. It's possible for us to know. But we think we know so much. We know so much. Actually don't know anything. That's why we need the torchlight. We need the light of knowledge. That's why what Krishna did. Krishna Sadamopagate Dharma Jnana Adivisha Kalo Nashto Disham Esho Purana Orko. He has appeared in the form of sun. Which kind of sun? Purana. In the Purana sun. Purana Artha. Bhagavad Purana, which is brilliant like sun, appeared to dispel the darkness of the age of Kali. The Srimad Bhagvatam is an incarnation of Lord. That is the position of Srimad Bhagavatam. Krishna Sadama Upagati Dharma Jnana Adivishaha Kalo Nashto Dishamesha Purana Orka Odhuna Uditaha. So Lord incarnated in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam, Grantha Avatar. And Lord also appeared in the form of holy name in the age of Kali. That is called Nam Avatar. So Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna. And this Srimad Bhagavatam has 12 cantos. How many cantos? 12. You should know that. At least know how many cantos are there. Whether you know what is there inside or not, that's second point. But first point, you should know there is a Vedic literature called Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam has 12 cantos. How many chapters? How many chapters? 18. Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters, but Srimad Bhagavatam has 335 chapters. How many chapters? 335 chapters. How many verses? 18,000 verses. That is called Srimad Bhagavatam. Bhagavad Gita, how many chapters? Okay. We'll discuss that in December. on Gita Jayanti Day. And how many verses in Bhagavad Gita? At least you should know these basic things. Otherwise, people laugh that you are following Bhagavad Dharma, you don't know what is Bhagavad. You don't know how many verses are there, you don't know how many chapters are there. Who composed Srimad Bhagavatam? So, Vasudev compiled all the Vedic literatures, all the Puranas, Mahabharata, everything. Even after that, he was not happy. He was very morose. And he was thinking, I have done so much. Even after that, I am not happy. How many of you want to be happy? So Vasudev also want to be happy. But he was not feeling happiness. He has done so much service by compiling Vedas, Puranas, Mahabharata, Upanishad, Vedanta Sutra, so many things he has done. Even after that, not happy. Why? He was not able to understand. Then his spiritual master appeared before him. And who is the spiritual master of Vasudev? Narad Muni. Narad Muni is the spiritual master of many great personalities, right? He was the spiritual master of Dhruva Maharaj. He was the spiritual master of Prahlad Maharaj. Who else? And who else? Okay. There are so many big disciples of Narad Muni. And one of them is Vyasa. So Narad Muni came and started chastising his disciple. That is the duty of a guru. What is the duty of a guru? Chastise the disciple. But in Kali Yuga, that doesn't work. If the guru chastises, disciple will disappear. He will never come back. The guru also knows this. That's why in Kali Yuga, guru is very polite. Oh, how are you? You are doing well. Thank you so much. You are doing so much. But that is not the way guru should behave. But in Kali Yuga, what to do? Unless you do that, disciple will disappear. But Vasudev was not Kali Yuga disciple. Vasudev was ideal disciple. Ideal disciple receives chastisement from the guru. And Narad Muni told that people in this world are too much attracted to sense enjoyment, and what you did, you wrote Vedic literatures to encourage them to enjoy more. That's what you did. Because most of the sections of Vedas is about Karma Kanda. 96% of the Vedas is Karma Kanda. What is the meaning of Karma Kanda? How you can enjoy nicely, either in this planet or in the higher planets. That is the major portion of Vedas. And that is the inclination of the living entities in this material world. And what Vasudev did, he encouraged that through Vedas. That's why Narad Muni was very upset with Vasudev. And he told him that you are not happy. Why? Because you have not glorified the Supreme Personality of God. That's why you are not happy. So, essence of Vedas should be Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also declares, Vedasya sarve aham eva vedya. The essence of all Vedic knowledge is Krishna. If you know Krishna, you know everything. And if you don't know Krishna, you know nothing. That's why the purpose of studying Vedas is to know Krishna. And which was not done properly by Vasudev. Then Vasudev was instructed by Narad Muni to compile Srimad Bhagavatam. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, what is spoken? activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his different incarnations, and also activities of his exalted devotees. That is Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam means glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his pure devotees. That is Srimad Bhagavatam. And when Vasudev composed Srimad Bhagavatam by the instruction of his spiritual master Narad Muni, he was in ecstasy. We also can experience ecstasy following in the footsteps of Vasudev. What we have to do? We have to absorb ourselves in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada, he received the instruction from his spiritual master, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, in 1922. And what was the instruction? To spread the message of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, spread the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world, outside of India, in the English-speaking language. That was the instruction. Who received? Abhay Charan Aravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. That time his name was Abhay Charan Dev. But he reached America in the year 1965. How many years gap? 43 years. Guru gave him instruction in the year 1922 and he landed in America in the year 1965. Why so long time he took? Because he was preparing himself. Because in order to preach Krishna consciousness, you need books. And which books? Which book? Srimad Bhagavatam. So Srila Prabhupada was translating Srimad Bhagavatam. When the 3 volumes of the first canto were ready, then Prabhupada thought, now I can go to America. So before he was ready with Srimad Bhagavatam, he was thinking, I cannot go to America. How can I preach? What is the basis of my preaching? Srimad Bhagavatam is the basis of my preaching, and there is no English translation of Srimad Bhagavatam available. And he translated that because books are the basis. And Prabhupada used to say, I never went to America. Bhagavatam went to America and I accompanied Srimad Bhagavatam. So, who preached Krishna consciousness all over the world? Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why we have to understand the glorious position of Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, who is eligible to study Srimad Bhagavatam? Very simple qualification. Very simple. And that is also explained in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in the first chapter itself. Dharma prajjita kaitava atra parama nirma saranam. If anybody wants to enter into Srimad Bhagavatam, only one qualification. What is that? He should be free from envy. If our heart is filled with envy, he is not qualified at all to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. He can read life after life, but nothing will be understood. Nothing will be understood. Why? Because heart is envious. This world is the world of envy. Prabhupada used to say, I am envious of you, you are envious of me. That's it. That is the essence of material existence. Then he continued to say, but this Krishna consciousness movement is for those people who are free from envy. First class people. So in order to be a member of this society, International Society for Krishna Consciousness, according to the founder Acharya of the society, the basic qualification is, the primary qualification is, we have to be free from envy. Why we are not experiencing happiness in this world? Why you are not experiencing joy in life? Why you are not experiencing bliss in life? Because our heart is envious. You can have all the facilities available to be happy, but we cannot be happy unless and until our heart is pure. And what is the meaning of purity? Freedom from envy. So what is envy? What is envy? Very simple. If someone is happy, by seeing happiness of others, I become unhappy. If someone is unhappy, by seeing their unhappiness, I become happy. That is the symptom of envy. And that is the way world functions. We are not happy what we have. Rather, we are unhappy what we don't have. Right? You may have a wonderful car. It will be brand new, good model car. But your friend has a better brand. What will happen? Your wife will tell. Your friend got better brand, okay? Try to get that. Competition. Unhealthy competition from comparing. That is called envy. So we are not happy because we are lacking something. We are not happy because we are having envy. So in order to realize Srimad Bhagavatam, qualification is you have to be free from. To understand Srimad Bhagavatam, academic scholarship is not the qualification. It is very nicely spoken by Lord Shiva. You should not take it in a different way. He said, Aham vedmi, Sukha vedti, Vyasa vedti, na vedti. He says, Lord Shiva says that I know Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukhadev Goswami also knows. Vyasadev may know, may not. Who composed Srimad Bhagavatam? By this, a deep message is given. By reading verses, by repeating verses, you cannot understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? In order to understand Bhagavatam, you have to be a pure devotee of the Lord. Only pure devotees can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. That is the message. We can be erudite scholar, can remember, memorize all 18,000 verses, and he can explain also wonderfully. That's very good. But it doesn't mean you know Srimad Bhagavatam. Who knows Srimad Bhagavatam? Those who are devotee. Devotee Bhagavat, they know book Bhagavat. Who is a devotee Bhagavat? Who lives the life according to Srimad Bhagavatam. A person who lives his life according to the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam, he can only understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Practice. We have to practice the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. Our life should be the embodiment. Our life should be the shining example of practicing the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srila Prabhupada has given wonderful purports, because in Kali Yuga very difficult to understand verses, and most of us don't know Sanskrit anyway. And in order to know the translation also, we have to refer. In order to know the verse also, word by word, then we have to refer to word meanings and translation. That is our position. But we want to know Vedas. We want to know Srimad Bhagavatam. So that is from academic point of view also, we are not qualified at all. What to talk about devotional qualification? Academically also, we cannot understand anything. Because most of us in this world, we can be very, very educated from modern point of view, but we cannot understand any line of Srimad Bhagavatam. For that, Prabhupada had to give up his life to translate. In which language? never heard of. Vedic literature, Srimad Bhagvatam, into English. Why? Because English is the highest spoken language in the world, and he was instructed to preach in English language all over the world out of India. And for that, there is a great need to translate Srimad Bhagavatam into English. And by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, English language has become transcendental language. That is the power of a pure devotee. Now anybody from any corner of the world can have access in the message of Srimad. But by only reading the translation and purport, we can understand Bhagavatam. Some devotees will say, Maharaj, I have read so many times. After 1-2 days, we forget the whole content, not to talk about remembering Srimad Bhagavatam. Very difficult to understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Because we have to improve internally. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept love of Godhead for Narottam Das Thakur. Have you heard the name Narottam Das Thakur? No. Narottam Das Thakur was an acharya in our line. He was the partial expansion of Nityananda Prabhu. And he was very, very dear to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but Mahaprabhu left before he appeared. But Mahaprabhu kept love of Godhead in the water of Padma river. There is a river called Padma. Flows in Bengal. And Narottam got that prema from Padma Devi. By hearing this pastime, devotees of ISKCON asked, where is the place for us to search for prema? Where Mahaprabhu kept this love of God for us? So one devotee has wonderfully analyzed, and he told that Mahaprabhu has kept love of God in the Bhakti Vedanta purports written by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. So if you want to find love of Godhead, then you have to dive deep into the water of Bhakti Vedanta purports of Srimad Bhagavatam. So one sannyasi of ISKCON used to say, every brahmachari should be married. And who should be the marriage partner? Srimad Bhagavatam. If someone marries to Srimad Bhagavatam, then there is no need of any other marriage in this world. Means when you create a bond with Srimad Bhagavatam, then material bond will be dissolved. Those who take shelter of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is no question of cycle of birth, death, old age and disease. That immediately disappears. That is the power of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I was discussing, but could not come to the point, that Rupa Goswami gave 64, and after that I changed the topic. After 64, he thought that number 64 is very big number. So he gave the essence of 64 limbs of bhakti. It is known as Panchanga Bhakti. 5 limbs. Doable, right? 64 rounds difficult, 16 rounds doable. So in the same way, 64 limbs of bhakti very difficult to do, but 5 limbs can be done. What are the 5 limbs? Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavad Shravan, Mathura Vas Srimurti, Shraddha, Ishavan. 5 limbs. First is Sadhu Sangha, association of devotees. If that is not there, nothing is going to work. Japa, Kirtan, nothing will happen. The root of everything is Sadhu Sangha, association of devotees. Then Nam Kirtan, chanting of the holy name. Then Bhagavad Shravan, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Then fourth, Dhambas, residing in a holy place. And fifth, worshipping the deities of the Lord. So these are the 5 most potent forms of bhakti So one of these 5 is hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavati nashtiki. In order to be free from anarthas, we have all varieties of anarthas, unwanted desires in our heart, in the form of lust, anger, greed, pride, envy, illusion, and so many others. So in order to be free from all these anarthas, what you have to do? Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. You have to hear Srimad Bhagavatam every day. Nityam means 24 hours a day, but at least every day. For how many hours? How many hours? That's a big question, right? Hearing Srimad Bhagavatam daily, that's okay, acceptable. But how many hours? While Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri, he used to hear Srimad Bhagavatam daily. For how long? From Gadadhar Pandit, minimum 3 hours. Raghunath Das Goswami used to narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, means teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at the bank of Radhakund in Vrindavan every day. For how long? 3 hours. Srila Prabhupada started the Sankirtan movement in the form of ISKCON by chanting the holy name under a tree in Thompson Square Park, New York City, United States of America. For how long? Minimum 3 hours. So 3 hours is a magic figure. And that's why Srila Prabhupada as an Acharya has given us also 3 hours. 2 hours for japa and 1 hour for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. So 3 hours time is very, very powerful time to transform our lives. But the problem with us is, during these 3 hours, we find a great opportunity to go into Samadhi. Not Samadhi like Vasudev, but we enter into another kind of Samadhi and we lose the opportunity to attain perfection in our spiritual journey, because that is the trick of Maya. Maya doesn't want we should become perfect, and he arranges in such a way during the most powerful time of our practice, during Japa and Bhagavatam class, we become sleepy. That's why Mahaprabhu is recommending Jeev Jago, Gora Chado Bole, Pato Nidra Jao Maya, Pishachi Kore. We are sleeping for so long, for how long? Since time immemorial. Sleeping, and sleeping. And when we sleep, who can wake us up? Sound, alarm clock. All senses are inactive, but hearing can continue. Alarm clock wakes us up. The alarm clock for the sleeping condition soul is Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam. We have to hear. We have to hear, keeping the ears open and also keeping the eyes open, also keeping the heart open. 3 things should be open. What are the 3 things? Ears, eyes, and heart. Openness is the way to welcome people. If we want to welcome Krishna in our heart, we have to be open-minded. We have to keep our mind, heart open. We have to keep our ears open. We have to keep our eyes open. In Vedic system, the doors of the Grihasthas always remain open. And outside the door, it was supposed to be written, Atiti Deva Bhava. It means we are welcoming people. Nowadays, we stay in flats, we don't know who is the next neighbor. There is a fear of thieves coming in, door is always closed. The door and also collapsible gate, and outside of the door it is written, beware of dogs. So we are giving a very clear signal, don't come here. We are closed. Kali Yuga people are very closed. So with that closed mentality, we cannot understand Srimad Bhagavatam. If you want to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, you have to be open. Opening our eyes, opening our ears, and most importantly, opening our heart. And when we open our heart, then we can receive Krishna in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam in our heart. That's what he said. We have to hear attentively. Sushushu satadhanasya vasudeva katharuchi. We can develop taste. How we can develop taste? When you are attentive in chanting. When you are attentive in hearing. So when we hear attentively, slowly, taste will develop. So therefore, on this auspicious day, because on this day, Sukdev Goswami completed reciting Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj on this auspicious day of Purnima, Bhadra Purnima. Sukdev Goswami spoke Srimad Bhagavatam to Parikshit Maharaj for continuous 7 days and 7 nights. No breakfast, no lunch, no dinner, no darshan, nothing. What was the process? Only hearing and chanting. Hearing and chanting. Sukdev Goswami was continuously speaking Srimad Bhagavatam and Parikshit Maharaj was continuously hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. And at the end of 7 days, what happened to Parikshit Maharaj? Parikshit Maharaj attained perfection and went back home, back to God. So in the same way, when you are absorbed in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the process of hearing and chanting, what will happen? We will also attain perfection and we will go back home, back to God. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Grantharaj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Bhadra Purnima Maha Mahotsav ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. Now we will have some other programs and that will be announced by the organizer.